All right, guys. Last thing in polynomials. I know you're all excited about this. Okay. Is dividing them. Okay. And it's not as bad as what y'all want to make it. Okay. So let's take a look. There are two ways you guys can see them. Go see them like this. Okay. Where you have your trinomial together divided by your monomial. Okay. And it'll have division. Or you'll see it your guys' most favorite way with a fraction bar. Okay, it could be written either way. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but there is a line here that says division or the fraction bar. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, and this is going to kind of go back to exponents when we divided them also. Okay, so I have 18a to the third power plus 30a squared plus 18a divided by a 6a. And if you want to right now, you could put a 1 above each of those, showing just as a reminder that you have that one is to a 1 exponent. It's going to help you out here. Okay, so when you divide polynomials, so this one's being divided by this 6a. Okay, you are going to take it and it goes under each one. You're going to divide each one by the 6a. Okay, so each piece gets divided by whatever you're dividing it by. Okay, my suggestion, write it out just like I did, because then you don't forget. You guys are very forgetful sometimes. Okay, so now dividing just like we did the exponents. Okay, so it's 18 divided by 6, so that's a 3. Okay, and if you remember, when you're dividing exponents, you subtract the exponents. So this one is a 3 minus 1. So that means it's a 2. So this is a squared. Okay. So then here, 30 divided by 6 is 5. And now this will be 2 minus 1. I could put the minus 1 over there. So that means there's 1. So I've just got an a left. Okay. Now your last step is to do 18 divided by 6. Which is plus 3. Luckily, no negative numbers to worry about. And this will become 1 minus 1, which means it's 0. So that means these a's cancel each other out. So here is your final answer on this one. Okay, so just to recap, I divided each number. So here, I did 18 divided by 6, got 3. I got my a squared by doing a to the third minus 1, because there's 1 here at the bottom. Okay, because you're going to move it up. So that's how I got the squared. Here I did 30 divided by 6 and got a 5. This exponent had a 2. This one had a 1. I brought it up to do 2 minus 1, which gave us just 1 left. Or I like this, nothing there means 1, 2. The last one I got 18 divided by 6 is 3. I had an a to the first power, a to the first power, minus them. They eliminated each other. That is my final answer. All right. So let's look at number 2. I have x to the third power plus 24 squared plus 24x. I got to divide it by 8x. But remember, like we did at the top, that's still being read as divided by 8x. So that is our divisor. So that means each of these is divided by that 8x. I'm going to go ahead and put my exponent there too. Okay, and I'll put one here also. Okay, everybody understand when you divide, whatever your divisor is, whatever's being divided by, that gets divided into each of the pieces, each of those terms of that trinomial. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to put a 1 in here, just kind of hold it. Okay, so 1 divided by 8 is still going to be 1/8. Okay, because it's a fraction. So this is 1/8. So 1/8. Okay, now I got to deal with these exponents. So remember, you minus them. Okay, so 3 minus 1 is 2. Now since this is up here, this x squared goes up here with the 1, or I really don't need it. So I could really write this as x squared over the 8. Okay, so let's move on to the second piece. So it's 24 divided by 8, which I remember is 3, so I'm going to write plus 3. Luckily, all positive numbers again. Then it's doing my exponents. Remember, it's subtraction. So 2 minus 1 is just 1, or I can just put an x. All right. Then again, 24 divided by 8 is plus 3. The exponents are going to cancel themselves out. So then this is my answer. Okay. Once again, it is, even though it looks a little funny, this is written in standard form. The highest exponent to the lowest exponent to my constant. Okay. All right. Let's look at another one. We only have 3 more, guys. Hang in there. Okay. Once again, I've got a trinomial divided by a monomial. Okay. This is my divisor, so it goes underneath each. So 8r squared, 8r squared, and then 8r squared. Okay? All right. So, once again, don't freak out with stuff, guys. One thing at a time. Okay? Always one thing at a time. So, in this case, 8 divided by 8 is 1. So, I can have a 1. Subtract my exponent. So, 3 minus 2 is 1. So, I'm just left with an r. So, 1r. Okay? Or just an r. I'm going to leave it for right now. Okay? So, here, I've got an 8 divided by 8. Once again, a 1. But here, though, when I do this, eliminate. So it's just a 1. Okay? For now, leave that be. Because that's your constant. You got to keep it. That's holding a spot. All right, so let's take a look at this. So I have 2/8, which I know I can reduce to be plus 1/4. Remember, this has got a 1. Now this is going to become a 1 minus 2. So here at the top, I'm going to be left with an r to a negative 1. Okay? And if you guys remember from the first lesson in exponents, you can't have a negative. Okay? If you remember, that means you have to take this and move it down. Okay? So now I'm going to start kind of rewriting this. I don't need the 1, so I'm going to keep the r. Okay? Keep the 1. Then here, I'm left with a fraction of plus 1 over r to the 4th. Okay? I can't combine these because they're not on the same part, because this could kind of be considered r over 1. Okay? So leave it like this. Okay? Remember, negative exponents, can't leave them in your finalized answer. So make sure to take care of those, guys. Okay? All right. So let's take a look at another one that's going to end up kind of like that one. Okay? So once again, I'm dividing by negative 9p to the 3rd, my divisor, so it goes under each one. Okay? So this becomes 9. Okay? Then it goes under here, 9p to the 3rd, and under here, 9p to the 3rd. Okay, so 18 divided by 9 is a 2. I have a 4 up here and a 3 here, so 4 minus 3. So I'm left with just 1p. Go here. This is all gone, but hold that spot. So you have to have a 1, because it's a 1 left over. 9 divided by 9 is 1. Move to your last piece. 45 divided by 9 is plus 5. Now I'm left with 2 minus 3. So that means my p has a negative 1. Remember, first lesson in exponents, can't have a negative. So remember, it's over 1. P is going to move to the bottom. So rewriting all this, it's 2p plus 1 plus 5 over that p since it moved down. And I don't need a 1 over it. You can have one, but you don't need it. We know when it's not there that it is that. So here's your final answer for that one. Okay, like I said, one step at a time, one term at a time. Okay, don't be in a rush. That's when you guys make mistakes. Okay, all right. Let's look at one final one. Another one where it's like a fraction. Remember, fraction is always a division. In this case, 8x is our divisor. So I'm going to go ahead and write it under here. Remember, it's with the 1. And I'm going to write it with the 24 over here. I'm going to put 1s with them also. Okay, so in this case, it's 2 over 4. I know it can be reduced to 1/4. And then in this case, it's 3 minus 1. So the x squared is on the top. Okay, this one will reduce to be 1/2. Then x minus 1. So this one's got a x at the top. And then back here, 24 divided by 8 is plus 3. And the x's cancel each other out. Okay, so kind of cleaning this up a little bit, you can keep the 1s, not a problem. Or you can write it as x squared over 4 plus an x over 2 plus a 3. Okay, this would be your best answer, but if you guys keep the 1s, it's still okay. All right? If you have any questions, guys, please ask.